Hey everyone, this video is going to cover Lamiaceae, or the mint family, and some of their lookalikes. This reading will be due April 22nd, and it's not that complicated, but there are some lookalikes, so we're going to go over the mint family and then a brief overview of why some of the other lookalike families are not the mint family. So to identify mint family, also known as Lamiaceae, you would first find a plant that has opposite leaves, so leaves coming off of the stalk opposite of each other. You would then notice that the stem could look kind of square. And to really ID this, you can pick off the stalk and then take the stalk and spin it in your fingers, and you'll notice it kind of turns in bits and spurts. And you'll notice that there are ridges along that stem, and it feels square. Opposite leaves, you've already noticed that. And then there should be an aroma with the plant. You can either smell that when it's not crushed, or if you take one of the leaves and rub it in your fingers, you should be able to smell often a pretty strong scent of some sort. And if you have a square stem, opposite leaves, and it's aromatic, all three of those together, you almost certainly have Lamiaceae. If you put on top of that irregular flowers, so flowers that can only be bisected one way, they can't be symmetrically sliced multiple ways, you almost are guaranteed to have a member of the mint family. Now, the mint family is generally safe for making teas. You wouldn't necessarily consider them edible because they have a strong flavor. Like, you wouldn't want to put a bunch of mint in your salads. You can put a little bit, it can be more of a garnish, but I wouldn't want to eat too much of it just because of its strong aromatic and bitter flavor. Some members of the mint family include basil, rosemary, lavender, marjoram, mint, peppermint, spearmint, germander, thyme, savory, horehound, and sage. So a lot of our herbs that we use in our kitchen. Now, this sage of this family is Salvia. That's the genus, not Artemisia, which is the sage that people burn for smoke sticks. So just keep in mind that sage, the common name sage, can be used to refer to those different plants. Again, the plants are mostly safe for teas and seasonings. There is some caution that you should use with using unknown members of the mint family. There are some plants that could be contraindicated for pregnancy. Things like pennyroyal, you would not want to be putting into your tea because pennyroyal has been historically used for abortions. Also, some of these plants have specific actions for the pelvic region and reproductive organs, so you would want to be much more careful if you were pregnant or trying to get pregnant. One of the lookalike families is Lamiaceae. This family would have square stems and opposite leaves, but it wouldn't be aromatic, and the flower is regular. So you can bisect that flower multiple ways and it would still be symmetrical. This is your purple loosestrife family. So purple loosestrife is a very common invasive species that you'll find in wetlands all throughout the United States. Scrophulariaceae, this would not be an aromatic plant, so you wouldn't have all three of those identifying features. Verbenaceae, the flowers are only slightly irregular, and they're often on racemes or elongated spikes. So at the end or at the axil of the stem, you would see a bunch of flowers coming off of one spike coming off of that stalk. They're also not very aromatic. Blue vervain, it more smells bitter. It doesn't really smell aromatic. So, the shape of the flower arrangement and then the non-aromaticity would rule out mint family. Then the last lookalike is Urticaceae, the nettle family. These have stinging hairs most commonly. The flowers are kind of small and almost indiscernible without a loop, and they also come off of so where the stalk meets the leaf, you'll have a little flower bundle that comes off of that, and there's gonna be a bunch of flowers on that one little bundle. That's your Urticaceae. It doesn't have quite the smell. Stinging nettle does have a certain scent to it, but I wouldn't consider it necessarily aromatic like the mint family, and the flowers are also very different. So for your mint family, remember, square stem, opposite leaves, and aromatic. And if you want to throw irregular flowers in there, that'll really help you get a certain identification. If you don't have all three of those key features, square stem, aromatic, opposite leaves, then it's not a member of the mint family most likely. So remember, square stem, opposite leaves, aromatic. That's your mint family.